Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the Corner Bookstore. And originally, we had Florence booked in to talk to us about all things related to horror when it comes to writing, and she's had to reschedule, so our apologies. But stay with us. We still have a great show for you today. My co-host is backstage. When it comes to writing and being an award-winning author, the queen of networking, and a genuinely wonderful, nice person, she has all of it. Let's welcome DIANN FLOYD to the show. Hi, DIANN.
Hi, great to see you.
Nice to see you too. I love us being these like little nooks here.
I know.
So how have you been?
I've been really great, but I'm really excited just to launch in and talk about you. And congratulations as of yesterday, second time around, #1 Amazon.
Woo! Yes. Thank you so much. You know, it's interesting because when I was putting this book together with the other authors, I always have that desire to check off those gold stars. You know, that's really what I'm about. But it's really important for me that I shared part of my journey that was so I was just being so vulnerable and candid, and so were the other authors, that I really hope that people will read this book and take something away from it in terms of how they can tap into their own awesomeness.
And yes, and you just share with everyone the title, because I'm always going to mess up everything.
Yes, I'm going to actually have a show title.
Okay.
So these are the two books. The first one was Behind the Green Screen: How to Succeed in the Live Broadcasting Business, which is really for anyone and everyone. It's my journey of how and why I left the corporate world and how I started this platform. And the second book, Adversity to Awesome: True Life Stories of Inspiration from Survivors of Imprisonment, Addiction, Sexual Assault, and More, includes 12 chapters. Excuse me. Each chapter is by a different author, and they share part of their journey when they went through adversity and now what they're doing in the world to help other people.
It was powerful, and the book launch was incredible. I loved how read and you designed it, where each author had their moment to share, and it is. I just was like, wow, it's so inspiring, your book, to be able to hear those authors' voices. So I hope people go back on, because it's going to be on YouTube, right?
It's there now. Yes.
Yes. So everyone watching and listening, please go and see it, because I couldn't stop listening. Each one was so inspiring because they shared a moment in time that was so tough, and they could have gone a different direction, and yet they forged forward just like you. Wow.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
and
Thank you.
It's inspirational. Absolutely inspirational.
Thank you, DIANN. I think also for each and every one of us, we go through something where we're tested and we have to make decisions. And sometimes we don't actually make the right decision. Maybe there's no one to talk to about it, or maybe we take it and stuff it inside, and then it haunts us literally for the rest of our time until we actually address it. And I know there are people out there right now who are going through things across the world and not talking about it. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think it's really important as we launch this book that people realize you're not alone. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to live in silence or in shame or in humiliation, because this is one moment of time in your life, and don't go through it by yourself.
Absolutely. Don't go through it by yourself. You are so right. And there are ways and people there to help you. And there's nothing to be ashamed of at all. at all.
Yes,
And that's why
it's
your book is so great. Sorry to interrupt, but that's why your book is so great, because here you have not only what you went through, but all these other authors sharing their story, and it really impacts the reader because you are not alone. And what you think is like what you're being tested on, and things that I've gone through, which, I'm just saying, okay, well, nothing merits to what these people have gone through. Still, don't devalue any testing, because we're all humans, right? And that's why we're here. We're here to learn.
It's so true. And something I learned through the interview process, I interviewed each of these authors one-on-one, and actually was, across the screen from them. I could see their facial expressions and their body language as they were reliving it. And just to have that moment in time where someone is so vulnerable and so authentic and so real, it was hard for me to keep from crying or showing emotion, which as an interviewer, we're not ever supposed to do. But it was just so real. And that's what I would put out to everybody watching or listening, that when you are going through something, it is real. And we come up with all kinds of excuses, or we pretend it's not really happening, or we live with our eyes shut and we don't want to address it, but it has to be addressed. Otherwise it will impact us physically or mentally, emotionally, some way down the line.
You could not have said it better. And then it eats at you, right? So that's what I like about the woman who's doing Jenny's Day, in which you can share about that. But wow, she's taken something and look where she's and look what she's doing. She's brought beauty to her daughter's life. And no one should ever feel alone, even if your whole life, if someone's put you down and just slapped you or whatever, just know you were made and brought to this earth for a reason. And we just have to figure out that moment and beauty about you. Don't you think?
Yes, very well said. I think for me, the word awesome, or when you walk into your awesomeness, or when you become your own lighthouse, your own beacon of light, it's actually when you're able to take all of the feedback that you get from other people, that negative energy or those insults, and you are just made of armor. And whatever they say just bounces off. And sometimes it takes a certain age to get to be able to do that, or certain things happen to you in your life, and then you're able to do it. But once you're able to do it, I find that you really can walk into your own glory, your own passion, and you realize that there's a greater purpose, which is to help other people.
Gee whiz, that's so beautiful. And you're right. That's why they say, you eventually have wisdom, because you've lived and you've had experiences. Wisdom comes at different times, because, things that might have happened to you when you're really young that made you grow up, sooner. So, for example, my great grandmother's mom died at 6, and she came from a large family. And, she had to start doing things that little 6-year-olds shouldn't have to do, and especially in the 1800s, clean the house, mop the floor, and all these kind of things. And but she grew from that, and obviously raised my grandmother quite well, married, etc. But still, she had to grow up fast without a mom. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
I haven't had that situation, but I can understand what you're saying.
So,
Yeah.
Everyone has different challenges. And anyway, the whole purpose is, at 6 years old, I didn't have to grow up, because I had this incredible family and was always given love, and I had my mama, right? So to lose a parent does make you grow. You get wiser faster in that regard, is where I'm going. But I love your title. Awesome. Amazing. It
Thank you.
is awesome. And the title, using the word awesome, And how did you come up with the cat scratching? Because I just love that.
You know, it's interesting. I'm putting, in case you're on the radio, we actually have a screenshot of the Amazon website, Adversity to Awesome, with the #1 new release, which, Diane, I have to tell you, I think it was up there for just about 24 hours, because every time I checked, it was still there. It's not there now as #1 new release. So that's why we always have to get the screenshot. But in terms of,
screenshot.
yeah, the screenshot, in terms of the visual, there are a lot of iterations of this. So I'll just give you a little bit of the backstory. Originally, I was going to do a series of books starting with the word behind. So we have Behind the Green Screen. This one was Behind the Mask, Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity. And I thought it would be really interesting to have it titled that, since we were in a pandemic and everyone was wearing a mask. I should say everyone, but many people were wearing a mask. And the title was sort of a play off that, in that we can see the physical mask, but we're wearing invisible masks. And that's how it started. And then I was working with an individual who thought it might be best to change the name to Adversity to Awesome, and actually came up with the original rendering, which was a yellow background with the cat, and the scratch marks were different, and if I just put it up again, and the circle size was different, and the colors were different, and there was no mask. So we went back and forth and back and forth. And then my book coach, whom you introduced me to, Red O'Loughlin, he actually was able to get a graphic artist to work with us. There were numerous iterations. I mean, I want to say 8, 9, 10, 12. I don't even remember how many.
Yeah.
So we get to that one. So that's how it happened.
I love the backstory, but I just love the cat scratching, because that's how you feel.
9 lives. So it's almost, I'm putting it up again. It's almost like the cat scratching, and underneath it, it could either be a sewer, like a manhole, or a prison cell. And the prison cell can be physical or it can be literal, because many times we feel imprisoned because of our fear, because of our pain, because of our anxiety.
I'm so glad you explained that to me, because for me, being a former teacher, and I just think of scratching on the blackboard. So I just saw the claws going down. But as soon as you said that, I was like, ding, you silly girl, of course, in prison.
Well, no, but it's like, it is still the cat scratching, you know.
Yeah.
Trying to hold on. And that's what we do. Something happens to us and we try to hold on. And in my situation, and I'm just bringing this to light in case it could help someone else, is when I had my assault happen to me, I turned to 2 different people, both women, and both told me that it was my fault. And had I received different information, maybe had someone put their arms around me and said, hey, it's okay, I'll keep you safe, we'll go to the police, whatever it is, it could have been a very different outcome. So I share this because if you are the recipient, if you're the listener, when someone comes and shares information with you, to listen without judging is an incredible skill and talent that we need to have as a global society. There's, in my opinion, too much judging. And when we judge, it causes anguish, it causes anxiety, it causes seclusion, reclusion. And that's how all of these diseases start, in my opinion. And we need to pick each other up and be supportive instead of labeling and judging and shaming.
Absolutely. Listening is such an important skill. And I know when I was younger, I probably wasn't such a good listener. Luckily, one of the great things about being an educator is they teach you how important it is to listen. So that was a great awakening. And then it actually helped me become a better parent too, because you did child development. But if you immediately, a kid comes to you and says, do you know such and such happened to me at home, which has happened to me before. And then, a teacher does, you have to go to the principal and share that information. If a kid comes to you and your own child and wants to say, I want to tell you what happened at the baseball practice today, right? And then all of a sudden, before they just say, if they don't even get everything out, you just immediately just start going, well, what were you doing? And did you cause it? What did you say back? Well, what was your tone of voice? And then the kid's like, yeah, I'm not going to say anything else to mama because she's not listening. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that moment in time, that can be a trajectory for a whole bunch of pain and anguish that goes forward. And I think that's what I'm suggesting, that we each take ownership of how we're showing up for someone else who's vulnerable and sharing something with us that they need to get out.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But also, I think in listening, and tell me, if I'm totally off track. But in listening to everyone's story yesterday, I just sat there and was in awe of how, a mom, they even, some of them even shared they could have gone this way, but they decided to go that way. And you just sit there and go, wow, how did they do that? How did they realize that this was the way they wanted to go? And then to know that as they came out of that darkness and they're providing so much light to others, that not that they ever want to go through it again, but they understand now what they can do with what they learned and shared. Does that make sense at all?
It does make sense, yes. In fact, I would say one of my key takeaways from interviewing each of these individuals is, in some cases, there was one incident that happened. And as a result of that happening, other things happened. But in other cases, there were years of things happening.
Wow.
And those years became lost for many reasons at the time when they were living through it. And then
Mhm.
something happened where there was an awakening and they were able to see that they were not what they were being labeled. They were not insane. They were not bad people, that
Mhm.
they had something happened that maybe was through no fault of their own. Maybe they were abused, they were beaten, they were bullied, and it happened over and over. They were a child, for example. And at some point they realized that what happened to them was wrong, that it was illegal, that it was
Mhm.
immoral, whatever the
Mhm.
case was. And
Mhm.
how they showed up and turned their lives around is truly incredible.
Absolutely. And without giving too much away, I want to share that because I would think almost the majority of our viewers and listeners have been on an airplane or getting ready to go on an airplane. And I had no idea that this one thing could happen to you. But when the pilot shared that, what did he call it?
Toxic air syndrome.
Toxic air. I was blown away by that. And he just said just a tiny bit, but it can affect travelers as well, right? So we all should to look into that. And now there's an organization about it, correct?
Yes, there is. So his name is John Hoyt, Hoyte, and I had the pleasure of interviewing him on one of our shows. And I was really fascinated with the topic because it's not something that we really think about. But he was flying professionally. He was a pilot, and he got very sick. And in trying to diagnose what exactly was wrong with him, he couldn't come up with anything really. It didn't make any sense. And so, as it turns out, it was related to the air quality inside the planes. This is my understanding. And
Mhm.
he was also, I think, flying, he was doing crop dusting. And there's a certain chemicals that you're releasing. And I'm not sure if that was in the play or not. But long story short, he reached out to the FAA and major organizations asking them to look into it. And it turns out other people had come forward and written letters that they thought they were poisoned by the air they were breathing. So it's interesting because we're told, at least from what I read, and again, I'm no expert, so anyone listening or watching, this is just my opinion. I don't know anything when it comes to the subject, is that the air inside a plane is recycled. So
Right.
especially during the pandemic, we were told that's one of the safest places to be, which I don't really understand that. But so
Me
John started this organization and he's put almost all of his money and time into having some type of either personal device that you would use when you're going to fly, or for the airlines to make the accommodations and the adjustments. And of course, it all comes down to money, is my understanding.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know you can, and I wonder if it's his company now. I have to look into it because I know you can buy these little things to have fresh air now while you're
No, that's not
flying.
his company,
It's
and
not okay.
no, and
Yeah,
I'm not technical enough to be able
I'll
to.
check it out.
Yeah,
I'll check it out. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole when we need to stay on target. Um, so for all your listeners and viewers to know that these people that are in your book, you you can learn from their stories. I would think, Dr. JACALYN, not only for yourself, but other people you might know in your life. Go, hey, you read this
absolutely.
story, and you might relate to this. And look what this person did. I think it's a teaching tool. Is where I'm going. What do you think?
It's definitely a teaching tool. One of the takeaways I took away from Teyuda Avduli's chapter is you never know what is going to happen, and how you show up when it happens says a lot about you. She was out riding her bike, and I'm not going to give away the whole story because we'd love for you to buy the book. She was out riding her bicycle. It was a beautiful day. She was getting fresh air, and she was at a stoplight one moment, and the next minute she was run over by a truck, and the truck didn't see her. So the truck has the 2 axles or 3 axles of tires. So the first set of tires went over her, then the second set of tires, and then the third. Imagine a big truck like that.
And she's still alive.
And what pulled her through was her love for her children, her desire to keep her family whole, that she knew that she was not checking out. She wasn't going because she wasn't going to leave her family. And it's really powerful. And one of the other things that I admire from the author's work, and I have to say also from the work with Red, is that we were able to take, in some cases, very long amount of information and condense it and still have all the facts, so that we had a book that was manageable as opposed to hundreds and hundreds of pages.
Yeah, I can believe that, because if I was retelling some stories, it would be like, 50 pages, and then you really could just get it down to a short story. But it's so emotional when you're reliving those things.
It
Another
is.
another author that I really enjoyed was Madeline, because she is such a beautiful free spirit, and you would have never ever thought in a million years that she ever experienced anything except for love and light. Because that's what
Very
she
true.
shares, is love and light, right?
Yes, and I love Madeline. She's a wonderful person. And when I was interviewing her, I found it very difficult to keep myself composed, because what she went through was so horrific that you see it on a television, in a movie, and you have to look away. It's just, you can't even imagine that this could happen to someone. And she was able to pull herself out of the depths of darkness. And she'll let you know, she said it yesterday on the show, that she made choices that put her life in danger. And at some point, she realized that this was a pattern. And when she was able to accept responsibility, she was able to get out of that lifestyle, life pattern that she was in. And now she realizes what the important things are in life. And it's about love and kindness and giving back. And that's really who she is and what she stands for.
Yeah. Powerful, powerful. Well, I can't thank you enough for writing a book. I know that your chapter in the book had to be very difficult to relive, as well as the other authors, but what you're giving out to the world is priceless.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. When I wrote the chapter and I shared it with you, I think I read it to you. And then when it was actually in the manuscript, I told Red, my book coach, that I don't want to see it again. I don't want to look at it again. I'm not going to read it again. And I haven't. So when we went through the rest of the chapters, we went through them over and over again. We didn't go through mine, and it wasn't sent to the editor that we were working with, Hyatt. So it's, hopefully grammatically everything is fine, but it's hard to continuously relive something. Although we see Janetta Barry, she's on our platform. You referred to her before, and I'll give some introduction about her. But she's able to relive it, what happened to her daughter and how it impacted her life. Whereas now that it's out in the public domain, for me, what happens, I don't want to relive it again. It's there, it's addressed, and now I'd like them to find the guy, but that's another story. So I hope he's not doing the same thing.
Let's hope not. But you know what? There's something about that. When what I'm sharing has no bearing or equal to what you're talking about, Dr. JACALYN, but I hope you find some light to it, or connection, I should say. But when I lost my last baby, you know, some people call it a miscarriage, but when you lose a child at 6 months, I don't think of it as a miscarriage. But you know, you sit there and you ask yourself, why, la, 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 la. And I think by going and having a balloon and putting in there all these things that I'm thinking, and like, maybe I'm not a good person, or maybe I did this wrong, you know, quit beating myself, but also discovering this baby did something actually to help someone else that was in the hospital, which I'll share on another day. But when I released that balloon and let it go up and said a prayer, it was like I was whole again, and I could go on living and loving the 3 children that I had been blessed with. Does that make sense? And for you, you were released after you wrote that chapter, right?
Yes, yes. And thank you, Diane, for sharing that. I'm not sure if you were watching our show. We had Kay Parker on, and she
No.
talked about her miscarriage.
No, I'd missed it. No.
Yeah, I'll have to introduce the two of you. She actually has a huge social media following on TikTok and Instagram. I don't know if it's primarily women, but she's very authentic and shares exactly what happened with her miscarriage and how it basically turns her entire life around. How she dealt with it, I should say.
How she dealt with it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but those moments of you writing it down, and I'm sure with everyone else, it was hard to write those things, but there was probably another moment of release and wholeness coming back within your spirit, I would think.
Yes, I can't speak for them, but for me, yes, I do agree. So sorry as I knock over the computer. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to watch a couple of wonderful sponsorships, and then we will be back shortly. Right, Diane?
Great.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diann BOEHM. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diann Floyd BOEHM tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diann's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at DiannFloydBOEHM.com. Visit DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. That's DiannFloydBOEHM.com.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diann Floyd BOEHM's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DiannFloydBOEHM.com.
My stomach issues make me want to stay home, but that's not an option. No matter how prepared I am, I still feel nervous. Enough is enough.
If this sounds familiar, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation can offer you support and connect you with a specialist.
Don't keep your symptoms to yourself. Get help at spillyourguts.org today.
The system does a number of checks on all these different areas, and then it turns from draft to in review. So it had been in review when I went to sleep, and then at like 5 in the morning, it went back to draft. I was like, draft, what's going on? So they sent me an email, and basically the cover, the spine that had my name on it, was the text was bleeding over into the front, the front cover. So it had to be redone. So of course, my book coach is in a different time zone, an earlier time zone, and the person who did the work, I don't know where they are. So it was out of my control, and I couldn't contact anyone at 5 in the morning because I would have been 4 in the morning. So anyway, that's what ended up happening. Everything's been addressed, and it's back. It went from draft to in review. So it takes about 12 hours. So it should be sometime today that it's available.
Oh, well, that's exciting.
Yes.
Yay.
And the ebook is available right now for 99 cents.
99 cents. You cannot beat that.
Yes.
Right.
I'm putting it back up again. Just go over to Amazon. There they are. The ebook for Behind the Green Screen is $2.99, or you can get the paperback for $19.99, and Adversity to Awesome is 99 cents right now. And when the paperback comes out, it'll be $9.99 for a limited time only. Yes.
There you go.
So, Diann, I want to talk about your work. You have a new project. Tell us all about it.
Goodness, which one? I'm just teasing.
Whichever one you want to tell us about.
Well, I'll tell you just a tiny bit. So I'm proud to announce that a new book will be coming out in the fall. It's called, which one? No, I'm just teasing. I love to tease. Charlie and the Tire Swing. And I'm very excited about it. I've written it a good while ago. And so, as you know, when you're with a publisher, you're not the only person alive, and so it takes a long time for the book to move up to them being ready for it. So I'm proud that yay, they're ready, and the artwork is the illustrator's finishing it up. We received a letter that she scanned in the last images, and the publisher will be checking it over, and once it's all approved, it'll go to layout and et cetera, et cetera. So yay. I'm excited.
Congratulations, Diann. That is
Yeah.
super exciting. You really are a dynamo, a true dynamo. It's hard to believe. Are you actually human? Are you a robot? No.
Oh, you're so funny. You're so cute. I'm so excited about this, and it'll eventually morph into Charlie and the Tire Swing. And I can't tell you much about it because we have to wait for the book cover release, and then it's, everything's always in stages.
Yes.
Where I just want to tell you everything. So
well, it is exciting, and you have continued to put new and relevant content out there that continues to win awards. Tell us how you do that.
how do I do that? I think with the angels' help. So I'll give a credit to the angel that comes and says, "You have to wake up. I have this that I need out." So I totally believe in angels, and I totally believe in, hopefully, that I'm a good instrument in putting great things out for people that want to read things. My children's books, as you know, are for about peace and love, liking yourself. And that's why, even if you're an adult, read my books, because I want you to like yourself. If for some reason you don't, my books will help you like yourself, because they're just lovely, and they bring a magic sparkle into people's lives. So that's what my books are about. And I want children to know that even if somebody's different, it doesn't mean you shouldn't like them or get to know them, because, as I like to say, you might miss out on a very best friend. And you can't have enough friends, right, Dr. JACALYN?
Yes, definitely. And Diann, while I have you on Spotlight, I'd love for you to talk about your work as a talking head, because you really bring in a lot of your incredible talents, especially as a master storyteller.
Yeah, thank you. Talking Heads is an amazing program that you have, and I'm very honored to have an opportunity to give tips on how to write stories, how to tell stories, how to make your listeners want to keep listening, and, as they say, turn the page. And having talking heads and sharing these tips, I just think is wonderful. We are all storytellers, but how do we make a story come alive? That's what my part of Talking Heads is all about, is making things come alive. And for your viewers and listeners, telling stories doesn't mean you're going to turn around and you're going to want to write a book. It means that when you're sharing something around the water cooler at work or at home in the kitchen, because everybody loves to be in the kitchen while you're cooking, especially. And so that, as you want to tell the stories. So the adjectives you use or the voice you use just brings more excitement to it. If you were to tell a story and you just did it all in, well, today I went to the grocery store, and then after that I decided I'd go see a movie, and the movie was really great, and then after that, I came home and cooked some hamburger meat and fed the kids and put them to bed. It's like, oh God, please shut up, right, Dr. JACALYN? So if I can make people go, and then this happened, and that happened, and this happened, and oh my gosh, and they did a little bit of singing. You're like, okay, I'm going to listen to this person. So that's what my Talking Heads is all about. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to share that.
I love the way that you describe that because many people, I don't think you or me, but I do know people that they feel like every day it's the same thing and their life is monotone like this. And the last thing they want is more monotone. It's emotion, passion, commitment,
Yeah.
dedication, excitement.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. My husband once asked me, he said, do you ever slow down? Like, can you just go and pause? And I said, and this was very in our younger years of marriage, 40 some years later, he's used to it. But I was like, no, it's like if I'm not doing 100 things or like only 10 people need me, I'm like, what's wrong with me? Did I do something wrong? I mean, I have to be helping people, needing people, reaching out, connecting people. I mean, that's
And you're so darn good at it. And it feels so great. I just love that about you. I also feel like where we put our energy, where we put our commitment is where we're going to grow and where we're going to find our value. So, and I know this about you and about me, it's very hard to just sit around and do nothing. And I even found, I'm just going to give a truism here, because I've been alone so much in the last 2+ years that when I am with other people, which is not very often, it feels kind of awkward because I'm not used to being with other people. And I'm so grateful that I have this time, which I've put 90% of my time when I'm not sleeping into this platform or into writing or some kind of collaboration. And if I was with other people all the time, I wouldn't have that ability. So I am grateful for this opportunity.
Well, yeah, I don't think you ever sleep. I don't know what you do, but I mean, I do have this moment of stillness, and that stillness is in the garden or at church or moments when I'm, singing to myself. But it gives me this sense of quietness, and it gives this sense for my spirit to kind of speak to me and reconnect. That's real important. And of course, walking my dog, which I need to do more of that. I've been cooking, and so I'm turning to dough again.
Turning to dough. That sounds like a new song. I'm turning to dough.
But it sure is good.
But it sure is good. It feels good. Looking good.
You must be a jazz singer.
Yes, that's my favorite kind of music to sing is blues, jazz. In fact, working with Madeline Chan, the song that I really love is Sunny,
Oh.
and also All That Jazz.
Mhm.
So
Oh, that jazz. Yeah,
all
that's a
that
great one, and Sunny
jazz.
too. But I almost forgot to tell you when you were speaking earlier, um, and now it's gonna a moment you said when I was with them in a moment of time, it made me think of that song, and that should be like, your song for that book. Because do you know that song, A Moment in Time? Oh my gosh,
No, I
I
know
am
the
gonna
ad
send
that
you
we
to
have.
it.
Okay.
I am gonna send it to you because it's powerful. It's like, give me one moment in time and just like, I love singing and I'm horrible at it. It's right there in my break, but the words are so incredible.
Please send it to me.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's
Because we
perfect.
are looking to animate the book cover. Maybe we could have it to music. We'd have to get copyright permission,
Right.
obviously. So
The words are
there's always
powerful.
that.
Yeah, there's a British woman who's one of my favorite singers, whose name's escaping me at the moment, and I just said she was a famous singer, but she, like, man, she's incredible the way she sings it. But yeah, I'll send that to you. And going back to also your book and people out there needing help. I mean, my heart goes out to uh, Naomi and all of the Judds, basically, I should
Mhm.
say. And again, they said a little bit it had to do about mental awareness. So it just shows you that it doesn't matter what walk of life you're going through. You can make $1 million, you can make nothing, but you have to always know that you're loved, and this book will help you. What do you think?
Yes, thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. As
Mhm.
we close out the show, I'll just put up the Amazon screenshot again. We'd love for you to go over. Again, it's 99 cents right now, and our goal is to help other people come forward with their stories. If you'd like to be a guest on this show or any of our other shows and share your story, please go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com. And thank you so much for the interview, Diane. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and congratulations on Amazon top seller. Yay!
Thank you.
That
Yay.
is not easy to do. So
no, we did it in less than 24 hours, even
It's-
faster than, and that's 2 in less than a year. So
that's
I'm really
mind-boggling. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Diane. I'm proud of you too. And I have, I'm not going to give the details, but I have a new series of books I'm co-authoring with Mariska Duprier. And they are, the purpose of this series is to teach children listening skills. So that's all I'm going to say, but we have the title and we're working through some of the other details. And I'm just excited to move forward with that project as well.
That is so exciting. And, you know, my heart is all about children and education. And so this is going to be amazing. It's going to be for
Amazing.
parents, teachers, everybody.
Everyone.
So, yeah. So you're doing that and you're running, what is it, 25 shows now?
We're going up to 30 soon.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I'm actually exploring some other things, which I'm not going to say on the air right now, but
Yeah.
I've got a vision and a mission. And also I'm going to be starting back up again with Madeline. We're doing the course, The Power of Listening. I think part 4 is next week. Did I tell, or is it the week after? I forget.
No,
the
it's
16th.
this coming week, I think. I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, the 10th is the Power of Listening foundational courses. I think I have a slide for that. That's the 10th.
Okay.
And when you become certified like Diane is, then you can be featured. Your picture and your certificate will go onto our website. And you also can be a guest on our show, The Listening Mentor. And then, of course, our part 4, which is, I can't find my slide. It's here. I don't know where it is. It's here somewhere. Here it is. It's, I don't know. I can't see.
I know. I'm looking for it.
Here it is.
There it is.
The transition, facing the shadows of ourself. This is going to be the following week. And I forget if it's the 16th or 17th. So Madeline and I are back on it again. And we are also going to be co-writing a song and performing it together. So,
oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And before we close out, please tell your mother Happy Mother's Day and Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas around the world.
Oh, Happy Mother's Day. I forgot it was Mother's Day. No, I made plans for us to get out of the house finally. Happy Mother's Day to you, Diane.
Thank you. And Happy Mother's Day to my mama in heaven.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day to her as well.
We have folks, great new shows coming up, girl. And
yes. So we've got the film and music show coming up, and we're going to be featuring a guest we've already had on. He was so funny. He's so talented, and his name is Rocco, and we'll be bringing him back very shortly. So we'll be back in less than 15 minutes. So that's all we have for now. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.